Snail dry out is the greatest or is the biggest cause of snail mortality. Most farmers are not aware of this because they have not been informed the power or the devastating effect of dry out. Most times you see your snails dying and you don't know the cause of it. A lot of new farmers can relate to this. One of the major reasons why your snails die is that the snails dry out. That means excess breeze is having access to your farm, and the breeze is taking away the moisture that is supposed to help the snails to do well, and thereby drying the slime in the snails, leading to great mortalities. Welcome once again to Bonnywood Farms and Agro Consult. Today we will be continuing our series of causes of snail mortality. I'm sure you've been expecting a series earlier this time, but I just wanted to get you something valuable, something you have to learn so much from. And today on the causes of snail mortality, we'll be talking about breeze, excessive breeze as the cause of snail mortality. This is the strangest cause of snail mortality. It's like a secret cause of snail mortality, which so many snail farmers are not aware of, and it is one of the major causes. If I say major, I mean major causes of snail mortality, and it's only few farmers who understand this concept and are able to curtail snail mortality without stress. So while understanding breeze as a cause of snail mortality, you have to also understand that your housing pattern actually determines if your snail mortality will reduce or not. So the housing pattern actually determines if it will have quick access or easy access to breeze that could dry out your snails and kill your snails, or a housing pattern that can help to maintain moisture. Now, the interesting thing about breeze is that your farm must need moisture, high level of moisture, at least recommendedly 75% to 90%, slightly plus or minus, depends on the breed of snail you are using, of moisture in your pen to be maintained if you must have a good result in your snail farm. And to be able to maintain that high level of moisture, 70% and above, 70, 80, 90%, sometimes 95%. So invariably you can also say the greatest cause of snail mortality is snail dry out. Snail dry out is a process where breeze blows away moisture in your snail farm or in your snail pen, thereby resulting to the drying or quick drying of the snail slime. Now there is a big risk in this, so you may have a lot of thoughts on your head about this whole scenario, and all that, but I can give you a very simple example for you to understand what dry out is and why dry out impacts negatively snail farm. Now you notice that you will not see a snail walking around in the daytime in the forest. You will not. A snail does not walk around in the daytime in the forest. You only see them in the night when the place is cool, when the moisture is high and the trees are wet and all that. Now that is the condition, that's the environment snails need even in your pen. So once you have a pen that lacks moisture, that lacks water droplets, that lacks humidity, okay, your snails will find it very discomforting, and this will dry out their slime, and when the slime dries out, it will be difficult for them to move. That's the reason why most of the time you come to a pen, you see snails in the same place, they are not moving. This is a very common thing that is seen in snail farms, in a lot of snail farms. Very, very common. The snails are not moving, they are just in the same place. The reason is that most of the time, they are being dried out by the breeze. Because when you have moisture in your farm, and the farm have high access of breeze, when the breeze comes in, it will blow out the moisture that is already in the farm, which the snail requires. And when the breeze takes out that moisture, your snails are in trouble, and it is a major cause. So, and let me also tell you that this is not just about water sprinkling. Dry out is more than just water sprinkling, because some of you may think, well, I sprinkle water all the time, and for that reason the moisture is there. No, most of you are getting it wrong. Your pen is wet, is not directly directly the same thing as you are having moisture in your farm. You can pour water, and if the water is not retained, if your farming system does not have the ability to retain that water, your water sprinkling is not of no good effect. Please let me hope you understand what I just said. So from the beginning, like I said, so when you make a snail house, you have to consider a lot of factors, so many factors like temperature, breeze, and a lot of factors. But most of the time, most people don't give consideration to dry out because they don't really see dry out as a cause. But I've told you in this video that dry out is the major cause of snail mortality. I can tell you. I know that most starters can relate to this video. Most starters who are new to snail farming, who are having issues of mortality, incessant mortality, snail mortality they cannot control. I'm very sure most of you will relate to this. You have the mortalities, you tried this, you tried that, you tried this. Sometimes you had a lot of mulching materials in your farm, in your pen, but then the mortality keeps happening. The reason is that the housing factor does not take into consideration the power or the importance of moisture, which can be greatly affected by breeze. I've had a lot of students ask me, well, the snails require air, okay, like air for breathing, and if we begin to cover them properly, they will get stuffy and they will die and all that. Most of you are getting it wrong because a lot of you do not understand the difference between moisture and air. The reason why I'm a voice in this topic is that I have had a lot of results of this same topic. I know how to maneuver moisture in a snail farm that will completely take care of dry out. Dry out is a major cause of mortality, and most people do not understand it. That's the problem. Most people do not understand the power of moisture. So in very quick words, I can also tell you the effects of dry out. So when breeze gets into your farm without properly managed or controlled, one of the things that will happen to your snail is that sharp beauty will be lost in your snails. Your snails will start to turn whitish, thereby requiring a lot of calcium demand for their growth, for their egg laying, and for their general well-being. What I'm saying is, once you start to experience dry out in your farm, you will not be able to produce beautiful, effective, sharp-looking snails from your farm. Like in our videos, you can see our snails are very sharp and beautiful. You see the colors, they are just like it's just as if they were just picked from the forest, because the secret is just the moisture. The secret is just avoiding breeze having access to your farm. The secret is ensuring that moisture that is in your farm is not easily lost. And some of these effects of dry out, that's the breeze having access to your farm causing dry out, is that your snails will stop laying eggs. There will be a reduced egg laying rate. Your snails, it will affect their growth, it will affect their appetite for food. So it will affect so many things in your farm. It's a major issue. So most people, they see that our housing patterns and they're like, well, your housing, why did you cover it like this? How will the snail breathe? Who talks about breathe? Who is talking about breathing in snail farming? Who is talking about breathing, ventilation in snail farming? See, most of you are getting this thing wrong. Ventilation is not an important key in snail success. What a ventilation snail needs is just very minimal, because ventilation directly affects moisture. Ventilation indirectly supports dry out. So you are trying to look at ventilation as if you are raising birds. Poultry beds need ventilation. Some other animals need ventilation in a very good quantity, but not snails. That is where most of you get it wrong. You don't have to bother about ventilation in snail farming. They just need very little opening, very tiny opening. They are good. Just give them the moisture. Give your house the power to control breeze control, having access into your farm. If you control the breeze and thereby maintaining the moisture in your farm, it will aid the growth of your snails. It will aid egg laying, it will aid the appetite of your snails, thereby they will eat well and they will function properly, so thereby resulting to your general multiplication of your farm. So please, if you are not controlling breeze, you are not controlling moisture in your farm, do not expect to grow. Do not expect anything positive about snail farming. That is as important as this. This is the most important thing most of you don't understand. Now, one of the things you can do to actually control breeze is that you have to prevent certain areas of your pen having heavy breeze into it, especially when you are in a location where there is a lot of breeze. You have to ensure the shading, the half shading of your farm should be in such a way that it controls incessant breeze, control breeze, so much breeze having access into your snail farm. So if you're able to do that, it will help your snails to do better. Now, another way you can control dry out, thereby controlling breeze in your farm, is for you to have mulching materials. You have to add a lot of mulching materials in your farm. So when you have a lot of it, and then after adding them, you now sprinkle water on it, the snails will go under and hide under the leaves, thereby having limited breeze getting to them. Okay, so even if you don't cover the shades and you have a lot of mulching materials and you sprinkle properly, you will notice that the moisture will be maintained better than when you don't have enough mulching material. So mulching material is key. You know, most times I see in people's videos, they just add very small leaves, tiny leaves, and then spread them on the floor, and they say they have mulching materials. No way, it won't work that way. Another way you can prevent snail dry out is to ensure you sprinkle water efficiently. So after you make a shade by the sides, you add a lot of mulching materials, and then you sprinkle water frequently. In this way, the moisture will be maintained better for your snails to do properly well, and then you have low mortality that arises as a result of breeze and dry out. One other way you can greatly maintain resist dry out in your snail farm is when you practice our soilless models. You know, as you see in our models are properly covered, properly protected from breeze, so much that there is no way breeze gets into our farm. So in this way, and they have been experimentally tested, and thus you see the results you see from our models. The snails are sharp, they grow properly well, they lay eggs efficiently, and the survivability is very high. So those are key things you must have to put in place to ensure you maintain low mortality in your farm, because if there is a high mortality in your farm, all your stress, all your efforts, all your money, everything is just going down the drain. So on our next or subsequent videos, we'll be doing more videos on snail mortality, and you're going to learn more causes of snail mortality, so you'll be able to curtail snail death and you can have a successful snail farm. If this is your first time coming across our channel, kindly subscribe. You do this by encouraging us to do more, and share our videos, like, comment, and ask your questions if you have any. If you do these things, it will encourage us to put up more valuable content for your learning purposes and for your results and success in snail farming. Thank you for watching this video.